Here we go. It's the Mike Tech Show, show number 828. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Thank you very much for downloading and subscribing to the show. Please visit the main website at miketechshow.com. You can email questions and suggestions for show topics at miketechshow@gmail.com. You can visit my YouTube page to catch all of the videos for the show, and that's at youtube.com/MichaelSmithMTS. Please click on the link to subscribe to the show and be notified anytime that it's, a new show is posted. This show is brought to you by Instant House Call, robust remote support for IT professionals and MSPs. Instant House Call provides unattended and on-demand remote access, and you could try it free by clicking on the link on the left-hand side of the website. Use the promo code MikeTechShow for your free 15-day trial. You can also go directly to instanthousecall.com. This show is also brought to you by MagnusBox, the best online backup service for your clients. You can back up Office 365. It is operating system neutral for all operating systems across platforms, whether it's Linux, Mac, or Windows Server. You can deploy MagnusBox. You can become a partner by just going over to magnusbox.com. But you know what? Kick the tires first and try it out. You'll be able to use have access to all the same features as existing partners during your trial period. Don't forget to mention that you heard it on the Mike Tech Show, and you will get free white labeling, and your first 3 months, your platform fee will be half price. You got to try it out. It's great. They only sell to partners. They don't sell directly to end users. Go to magnusbox.com and give them a try. All right. So for tonight's show, I'm going to update on a couple personal things, and then also talk about a little thing that happened today with my internet, and then somebody that came to the door after that. I don't believe in coincidences. So got that. Then alternate email account and why you have to have one, why your clients have to have one. I got it. There's an interesting story here. Then QuickBooks subscription. You can no longer buy desktop anymore. Or you can, but it's a subscription service now. Then a client move story. Everything went well. And then got a cool website to talk about. And also a couple emails that I want to get to. So first out of the chute, I'm recovering still from last night's concert I attended with my sons, Ryan and Tyler. It was at the Hard Rock Casino in Tampa, and we seen Sum 41, Simple Plan, and Set It Off last night, and had a great time. But boy, I'm getting old for the general admission. I normally like seats, but being part of the general admission, though I got to admit because Sum 41's been around for a long time, there were people my age there, and boy, I was feeling it. So I'm recovering. It just kind of killed everything I wanted to do today. So this afternoon, we had an internet outage, which is very rare for my Frontier Fios. We never have a problem. And I think I mentioned that last week, and that certainly jinxed it today. So about a half hour, not a total inconvenience, but, I rebooted the router, still had a problem. And I was looking up the phone number and getting ready to call Frontier, see if there's an outage, what's going on. And I tethered my system to my iPhone. I have an iPhone 12 Pro. And went on the internet, and I was having trouble getting to frontier.com even. So it was, like I said, half hour, 45 minutes. All of a sudden, everything came back up, and we're working. Everything's perfect. So about an hour later, knock on the door. It's Spectrum Cable, their competition. And I said, I'm a Frontier Fios customer. I'm very happy. Oh, you're happy? What about the price? Is that a coincidence? I often get visited by Spectrum because in the community, in the HOA development here, both of them are available. And there's reasons why you would want one versus the other. Me, I want nothing to do with cable. And I want my Fios because I'm gig up and down. And if you listen to the show, 2 gigs available. I'm going to do that when I get back down here in September. But here's what's interesting. When they were looking, they take a look when they're down here, when Spectrum is hooking someone up new for the Spectrum service. They look in the area for who does not have Spectrum, and they come knock. Hey, you're here. I get it. It's a way to do some marketing and, maybe pick up another client. But that's awfully coincidental that I had a Frontier Fios outage right before Spectrum's coming. And it's a public access in the back behind my house and behind a lot of other houses there. There's a central area where you could unplug the Frontier Fios customers unless someone's seen you. Wish I had a camera pointed the back of the house back there. I mean, I got cameras around the house, but not pointing like to that specific area. It'd be very interesting. Did the Spectrum guy cause an outage? Boy, how paranoid am I? And so non-trusting. Did he cause the outage, put it back, take him down for a half hour, and then come back and try to sell Spectrum services? I just don't believe in coincidences. And that was just so weird. Anyway, I dispatched him and said, I'm not interested. And right now, the Fios is working. Everything's good. I just had to mention that. So a couple weeks ago, I had a problem with my client not getting his SureWeb Exchange hosted email. And when I checked, I said, this is kind of weird. There's no outage. I send a message. He doesn't get it. So I tried to connect. We learned this also as we were setting up, we were redoing his laptop, and I'm trying to get his Exchange, his Outlook connected to Exchange. And it wasn't happening. And I'm like, this is weird. So I checked his DNS. There's no auto discover record anymore, and the MX records changed. And not only that, his name server's changed. This is hosted by GoDaddy, and I'm like, what's going on? So I called him, and he's like, yeah, I got a guy I know who's doing my website. I'm like, all right, here we go. Not only did the guy, and this happens, and I know not all web designers are this negligent, just most of them. And they forget about the MX records and all of the other possible DNS entries because they don't understand the DNS, and they just take control by changing the name servers, and they no longer can now get their email because they didn't preserve the records. And all they had to do was stop, go to a service like viewdns.info. Now, they probably don't know about that, but at least check what are the current DNS records? Because you're just going to, and you know what? I was going to say most web designers probably understand, and I don't mean to offend you if you're a web designer, but 98% of the web designers I run into have no idea how to handle DNS because I know they ruined my clients' stop an email. Well, this guy went one step further. He set up his email at another service that wasn't hosted Exchange. It was just IMAP and POP, and didn't tell him how to get his email. So now new emails are coming in. They're getting delivered. What a mess. So I got to get in to GoDaddy, bring the name servers back under GoDaddy, and start doing the DNS. Now, I look at the A record, the current A record for the website. So his website's going to work. We have a conference call with the guy. And I don't want to use the word moron. I'm trying not to. But the conversation didn't go well, and I knew it wasn't going to get resolved. So, yeah, we ended that phone call. The phone call didn't go very well. And my client, I said, look, we got to get access to your GoDaddy account because here's what happened. Not only could he not log in because we needed to reset the password, can't reset the password because the phone number that was listed was not a cell phone. It was a regular landline. And the email we didn't have access to yet. So that's a problem. So we got access to the email, but then the email still wasn't getting delivered. And I think because he signed up with an alias that I had in SureWeb, and it wasn't and I didn't notice, I didn't realize this, and the alias was not available that was set up by his web guy. So you see how this went off the rails and got complicated. We had a conference call with GoDaddy. They were so helpful. I can't believe I'm saying this. They helped us I got access to the account. And he was able to prove who he was. We got connected. Once I got connected, I talked back to the other guy to say, give me his login information so I can at least via IMAP get all of his emails. So I set up the profile on the new Outlook setup to get the temporary email that was going, exported that to a PST. Then, after the auto discover was set, the MX record set, and first had to take control for the default name servers. Then, once all that was working, then double checked the website was still up and running and working good because I preserved the A record. Then I set up his Outlook, going back to get all of his history and everything from SureWeb, and then I just imported the exported mail so he doesn't miss a beat. So in 2 hours, I had him completely resolved and everything working. So the lesson of the story, communicate to all of your clients. If you're dealing with something with an email, have a secondary email account. Have another Gmail account that's used for registration and for signing up for things that you can always have access to. And even in that, use the other email for in case something goes wrong, and only use a cell phone number. Never use a landline. Any business, whether it's a bank, whether it's, always use a cell phone because you're going to need a verification for two-factor authentication or just proving who you are. You know, even my Ticketmaster, when I go to log in, it's like, okay, we're going to send you a one-time code. Okay, here we go. And to prove it's me. And my cell phone number is attached to it. So I know this is common sense for everybody, or mostly everybody that's listening, but it's something you must be aware of when you're working with a client, and especially a new client, or you're helping them get new services. Maybe it's a new GoDaddy account. Maybe it's a new Fios account. Verification, email, should be a cell phone, and use an alternate email. And then make sure for the other email, you use the other alternate. So everybody needs 2 email accounts today for this very reason. So in case something gets shut off, something gets shut down, or you can't get access to the one email, there's a way to prove who you are, to verify with that alternate email. Gmail's very good at forcing you into this when you sign up now. In the old days, that wasn't the case. But you want to make sure that those things not only are set up, but maybe changed. I now have a checkbox on a new client. What are their verification methods for their services that I'm going to have to deal with? Maybe it's the firewall account. It's their email. And then do they have a cell phone for verification, or a voice over IP phone that can accept text messages, that can accept SMS? So just a couple things that I wanted to just kind of go over and pound away and make sure that you're on top of this with your clients. And just another thing to check. And trust me, they will be happy that you are that detail-oriented for everything. I have a client that has been using QuickBooks for years, QuickBooks Pro. And this client, as a bunch of my clients, we share the same bookkeeper because I referred the bookkeeper to them. I love my bookkeeper, Ray. Shout out. He's incredible. And he takes care of the bookkeeping. He always takes care of when they got to upgrade to a new QuickBooks using his Pro Advisor account, so he gets credit. They can get a little discount. So she was upgrading to QuickBooks Desktop 2022. I wasn't part of the actual purchasing, but it gets handed over to me. Once that's done, then I took care of actually downloading it, installing it when she got the email with the download and the new product key and license key. And I'm logging in, and she says, oh, by the way, this desktop version now, you have to have a subscription where they charge you every year. Now, it's not like they lowered the price of the QuickBooks desktop software, but they've now made it mandatory for a subscription. And that's the heads up I wanted to give everybody, that QuickBooks Desktop 2022. Now, yes, it's the desktop version, but now you have to subscribe and pay an annual service fee for the privilege of using the desktop software that you just purchased. So probably a lot of changes in the licensing agreement there, and the greed runneth over of QuickBooks. I get it. They don't want a desktop version at all. But let me tell you, if they got rid of the desktop and just went online, I have clients that they would have torches and pitchforks, waiting at the offices to greet, QuickBooks, because though lots of people can upgrade, including myself, if you don't have inventory, there are certain things that you can't do appropriately online. Plus, I have 2 camps of clients: the people that hate online and the people that will, love it. And the ones that hate it have to remain on the desktop platform. That's why QuickBooks, they can't get rid of desktop, but they've changed their licensing so they can siphon more money from our clients. And I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that as you go to upgrade. And now they're forcing it to upgrade. What they'll do, because I used to have clients that for years never had to upgrade, because why upgrade if you didn't need that particular feature or whatever they were upgrading to? Well, now they make it mandatory, where they take away key features and have them expire. And one of the features was, of course, one that this client needed, as everybody does. They make sure they hit a common feature, make it that it's going to go away by a certain date. You have to upgrade. And for this one, it was the end of May. And that's why I've had a couple clients where we've upgraded. And I just didn't realize the subscription one, my bookkeeper sent me an email. And he was like, while I was working, with my client, he talked about how they had to upgrade. He didn't get a response directly from Intuit, where he is a pro advisor, and he wanted like a double confirmation of that. So he's still waiting for that because he hasn't gotten a response. So that's the QuickBooks story. Now, client move. It's, you plan, and things go well. Everything went well. What we were fortunate that a good Comcast tech was there when he was supposed to be there and moved everything back, to the new suite that they were moving to. And phone services, everything got turned up. Everything was great from the technology end. My son moved the server, the switches, the firewall, the access points. He was there an hour before Comcast and worked out perfectly, where he was able to, shut the server down, make sure everything was, properly wrapped up. And he had, the, a cart to be able to put everything on and just move it. We're just talking down the other end of the hall, but it's still a full move. Everything went perfect except the movers, which we're not responsible for. My son was there over 7 hours getting everything connected, tested, the multifunction machine, making sure it's printing, making sure Wi-Fi's working, everybody's accessing the server. But the systems were set up on the floor or temporary little cart or something, because the desks haven't been moved because they were waiting on the movers. The movers were extremely late, and they weren't even there when my son was leaving in the afternoon. So everything went great except for the physical movers. So it was great where my son and Comcast moved all the technology successfully and got it all up and running. So we did everything we could do. And then remotely, all I did was make sure I had remote access and everything was working. Making sure I was able to get in, instant house call, worked great. And I'm like, okay, cool. Everything's good. So that was our move story. Very, very happy. I want to talk about a website that I want to show everybody. And this is one you definitely, I'll have it in the show notes. It's called poptemplate.com. And I am going to display that on my screen. If you need a template, let's say it's tickets, it's invitations. Let's look at ticket templates. This you can download. Let's say you're having, how many times for you're having a fundraiser, and you have like good for one car wash, or here's a car wash ticket, Microsoft Word raffle ticket. Now remember, you get the template where you can just edit all of this. You can download it and it's free. This is great. So I'm just displaying the sample for tickets, printable tickets that you can edit for, I don't, whatever you're doing, maybe holding a little festival or doing something. This is just one example. Let's go back to the front. Gingerbread house templates, candy bar wrapper templates, Christmas menu, New Year invitation templates, holiday party templates, Facebook templates. What's a Facebook template? What does that look like? Let's see. I didn't even look in there. Oh, okay. For setups for things you can put on your Facebook account. Okay. Or posting in Facebook. New Year flyer templates, Christmas tree templates, wedding invitation templates. You get the picture. There's business, there's legal, there's finance, there's education. An incredible amount of different templates that could save you time and possibly money. So when I seen that, I was like, okay. And you know what? That's like the only link for tonight for the show, as I'm going to get into some emails now to talk about. But protemplate.com, check that out. I think you will appreciate it. It's another bookmark to save. All right, let's get to some email here. Okay, 2 emails I meant to get to last week. And the question, remember, I had about the Etsy folder, and it was for the mail manager, and I wanted to make a change. This was a good idea, and this is from Bill. And Bill from Rhode Island, thank you. He says, my first thought is to change the rights on the Etsy folder and then just have batch files to change the host file. One for in the office, one for away. And just delete and replace the file each run. You know, it's the simple solutions that I often overlook like that. And that's, I need all of you to contribute like that. And I forgot to mention that last week. And Bill, thank you so much. That's a tremendous idea. Now, I went over the recommendation that was NetSetMan. We took it way complicated to where you can do a lot. But that's very simple. This was also a recommendation from Alan. Hey, Mike, I might be able to help or at least guide you in a helpful direction. From what I know, you can set up a DNS server on a Synology NAS. Yes, you can. Full disclosure, I've never done this. I've done this using a Microsoft domain DNS server. Set up the DNS server on the Synology and add a record pointing the server's host name to its local IP address. Again, most of my VPN setups are Sonic Walls configuration. Hopefully, you can do this with OpenVPN as well. Have the OpenVPN server hand out the DNS server addresses to the user's OpenVPN client software. So when they connect to the VPN, they will obtain their DNS from the OpenVPN server, DNS server. Yeesh, hope I explained that right. Yeah, no, you absolutely did. I'm no VPN expert, so don't throw me under the bus. We were still having an issue with the server name not resolving after we did this. We ran into an issue because we used split tunneling. Yes, and the last thing I had to do was go into the client network adapter setup, network settings, TCP/IP version 4 properties under advanced IP settings, uncheck automatic metric. Set the metric number to 10. You want the VPN client adapter DNS to take priority over other local client DNSs. I will include a link to the article that explains this part of it. Got it saved in my Evernotes. Sorry, I'm not the best at explaining things, but I hope this helps. No, it does. Feel free to email me back. Here's the link on the DNS and split tunneling issues. And this is Alan. Alan, thank you so much. And I wrote him back for that. And as a matter of fact, I said there was only one link. I forgot about this. So this is another link. DNS resolution via VPN not working on Windows 10. Man, just something else to add to our list of articles and notes and that we keep in Evernote for when you never know what you're going to run into something and you want to be able to pull it and access it quick. So that was great. Hope everybody enjoyed the show. I first, since it's Memorial Day weekend coming up, if you've served in the military, know anybody serving in the military, or you currently are, thank you so much for your service. I we really appreciate that. And make sure you honor what Memorial Day is all about. And hopefully everybody has a great, safe weekend and whatever plans you have, hopefully. But also keep in mind what the true reason for Memorial Day is all about. And with all the horrible things happening in the world today, I deliberately don't mention some of them only to just, I want this to be a safe haven of, something a little more pleasant, just everybody stay safe, and I will see you back here next week, same time, same channel. Bye-bye, everybody.